welcome to the Lipstick League. I'm Nicole Mahalik.
And I'm Natalie Eganoff, and this is where sports and pop culture come to play. And we are in the middle of February, right? We're almost at Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day,
Valentine's
lovers.
Day, everybody.
You do have a real Valentine.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So Hank and I, we have some plans for Valentine's Day weekend. It's actually his birthday.
Oh, fun. Wait, but
Yeah.
you just have plans with him?
Oh yeah. Well, we went up the mountains last weekend just for like a little quick getaway
Okay,
with a
so what
few.
are you doing for Valentine's Day?
So we're going to dinner on Friday for his birthday.
Okay.
God willing that the rain and snow holds off because I'm pretty sure that it's an outside reservation. So hopefully that doesn't ruin it. No, you're fine. And then for Valentine's Day, he's going to teach me how to play chess.
Oh, that's romantic.
Yeah. Cause he's like, what do you want to do? He's like, whatever you want to do, like we'll do. And I've been dying for him to teach me, but he's kind of showed me a little bit, but I'm like, no, I was like, I want like a sit down lesson.
Wow.
I said, I want like a detailed lesson because he claims that I'll never beat him.
Yeah, but you're strategic.
Well, I'm strategic and I'm a
You're like the dark
competitor.
horse. You're like a dark, and you're what?
I'm like a dark
You're like
horse.
a dark horse because people don't realize what you have underneath all that. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah. So no, he thinks he's like I'm unbeatable. None of my friends, his friend Carlo has never beat him in 6 years. So or however long they've been playing. So I mean, it's probably going to take me some time to actually learn because I've
Yeah.
tried to watch the videos online and they're it seems a little difficult, with
Well,
all the pieces and whatnot. Do you know
first
how to
I think
play?
it's so hot when a guy knows how to play chess.
Oh,
And
so do I.
yeah, like we talked about this. Like we're attracted to mind. You're like, oh my god, your mind's so hot. Take off your clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why he's like, "What do you wanna do for Valentine's Day?" And I'm like, "Do you wanna teach me how to play chess?"
I was like, can you show me how you do algebra?
Right.
Because that's on my list of like what I want in somebody. I want them to be good in math because I'm not good in math at all.
No,
And
that's a great quality. I'm not good at math either.
yeah, Neil, the guy that broke my heart that I did the whole Biggest Loser episode on, so go back and that was a bonus episode.
Yeah.
Good at math and he knew how to play chess.
Yeah. Oh,
But
wow.
and I don't know if I'd be good. Here's the thing though, like not it's interesting, because we're gonna obviously be talking about everything that's going on with the Eagles and with Howie and like when you're in that position of a GM, you have to be very strategic, which is what makes you a good chess player. I'm not very strategic. I'm a very much a heart thinker. And that's why like I'm not a shrewd businesswoman because I'm not
Same.
like they say in chess that you have to think like 7 or 8 steps ahead. Like I'm really good at figuring out people. Like I could it's very hard to explain, but there's been numerous situations throughout my life where I've just like picked up on vibes. Like I could tell when people have like gotten together or like when something's like, there was like 2 former coworkers that were having an affair and I like picked up on it right away and everybody thought I was crazy. Well, guess what? They're married with a kid now. And like I could just like so like I'm good with people, but when it comes
Yeah.
to like math or like I'm or
Business strategy?
yeah, like I'm just so I've never I mean I would be willing to learn how to play chess. But I also don't like to do things that I'm not good at. And so I feel like I would be trying like there are those people in life that like they love and they get a high off of like learning how to do something, perfecting it, or like they want to run a marathon or they want to learn a new language and they do it because when they accomplish it, they feel amazing. That is no desire of mine. I only like to do things that I'm good at.
Yeah. Oh, no. See,
Because
I need what it is, I think right now? I think I need, like, a new, like, mental challenge.
okay.
I need to be, like, challenged mentally right now. So, in a like so I think chess will give me something that's kind of gonna, like, exercise my brain.
Yeah. No,
And that's why I love football so much because I like to see the strategy and see the execution and see how it how a game the decision making that goes into the game and the coaching decisions and the plays and stuff like that. And also that's why I really love baseball because baseball's super scientific.
Yeah, my dad loves that too. That's
Mhm.
not I'm not into that side of it. But now my mom's really big into puzzles. She does puzzles every day, like a word puzzle. She breaks out the dictionary. Like she's all about like keeping it sharp. So like I need to work on that. Um, but it's definitely something that, and I've always had this like weird thing where I wanted to be good at something from the first time I've ever done it, right? That I would just be like miraculously a good golfer, or I'd be like weirdly good at ping pong or something. Well, guess what? It happened. It happened like 2 years ago. It was axe throwing. It turns out I'm an amazing axe thrower. So much so that I won the tournament and I still have it.
What?
Wait, I'm going to show you.
Wait, why don't you join a league?
Because, well, we're in a pandemic.
I think look, things are looking up. The 50% capacity in Philadelphia, Broadway's reopening, fans back
It
in the
says, it
stadiums.
says, Nicole is champion. You see?
Yes. Wait, Nicole, you should seriously join a league.
I am weirdly good at axe throwing. I don't know. I guess I just have like a good form and I'm like, you have to be, and it's so funny because it was from, oh, sorry, it was from 2018. So yeah, so it was 2 years ago or almost 3 years ago. It was like 2.5 years ago. But I, oh yeah, I was like, and then once I realized I was good, I was like, watch out, motherfucker. Then I crazy competitive demon, but I'm only competitive at things I'm good at. So if I'm not good at something, like I'm not a fast runner. So like I'm cool with like being in the middle of the pack. I don't want to
Yeah.
be fast, but I'm cool with being average. But when I know I'm good at something, I want to win.
So you know what else is funny? So not that this is anything remotely close to chess and or sports. However, I told you about Dogecoin, right? You've seen me tweeting
No.
about it, right? You know what
Oh,
Dogecoin is?
the Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is a different kind of cryptocurrency. So
Yeah.
Dogecoin is this coin um that was created by as a joke, like off of a meme. So I saw it last summer and I thought it was so funny because like all these K-pop, you know, like how the K-pop community takes over like TikTok
Hello,
and
BTS.
right. So that K-pop community like started some TikTok trend or something, and they were tweeting about Dogecoin and put it on TikTok, and um it went viral. So I like looked into it and I was like, this is hilarious if it ever works. Like, so I think I bought like $5 worth, right? Because they got the price of the coin to go up. And like, so then beginning of this year, it started to come up again. So I've thrown like a couple dollars on it like over like since last July,
Okay.
just to accumulate some. Because I throw random money at random stocks, even though I don't know, it's just
Yes,
kind of
yeah,
fun.
I need to get into that more.
Well, so the thing is, like, as I've been doing it, I feel like it's becoming more instinctual, and that's been like an intellectual challenge for me.
Yeah.
And but over the last month or so, the Dogecoin has like skyrocketed because Elon Musk has been like putting it out, and like Snoop Dogg and Gene Simmons, the lead singer from Kiss, is now like buying in, and the value keeps going like up and down. And I know that this is terrible, but it feels like competitive to me because it's like, let's see if we could get Doge to $1. I mean, it could take a really long time, but it's been like this new fun like activity. It's something else for me to like check in on.
Which I yeah, that's great.
It's like the score. It's like I'm checking on like the score of something
Yeah.
else.
That's
It's
how I am with celebrity couples in my Hallmark movies.
yes, yes. So like so then also I've been like studying extensively on like Bitcoin. Like I've been reading about like cryptocurrency before
Are
I go to
you
bed, and like crypto mining.
you're better as a learner to read things?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm
Yeah.
the opposite. Like I need, if I don't understand something, I need somebody to explain it to me and me be able to ask questions. So like I can ask a question and then I could be like, okay, well wait, and then I have to process it. When I try to read something, obviously books and stuff, I can fast reading comprehension, but if it's something that I don't quite grasp, like it took me a minute when everything that was going on with the GameStop and with Robinhood, like I was kept reading about it, and then I finally had to call one of my best friends who works in he's a financial planner, and I was like, okay, like break this down for me. And like
Right.
once he was able to explain it, and I always admire people who can learn just by reading because like I just can't. I need more somebody that's more of an expert to like talk it through with me.
Well, it's funny, like I can, if it's something I'm interested in, I can intake it. But I mean, this is very classic ADHD. If I'm not interested at all, like
Right.
I'll have to read the same sentence like 6 times
Yeah.
in order for me to continue. But if it's something that I'm interested in, and like I never thought that I'd be into like cryptocurrency, but like the more I'm reading and learning about it, the more like next thing you know, I'm like an hour's gone by and
I love that.
I'm like reading like on code and like software and stuff. And I was like Googling it and I'm like, what are you gonna do? I was like, you have a MacBook, like you can't like mine cryptocurrency like in your bedroom. It requires like all this stuff. But no, yeah. So chess
You
is gonna
never
be, I don't
know.
know.
Crazier things have happened.
Look, I mean, that might be my that might be my ticket to the next step in my life. But
Guess who's riding your coattails? I'm hanging on.
look, we're gonna have like
I can show you the world.
yes, don't you worry. Don't you worry. That's Dogecoin is gonna take the lipstick league to the moon for sure.
So yeah, so I don't officially have a Valentine, but I love Valentine's Day and I love love. And I think it's important to celebrate love. And I'm very, very, very blessed that I have amazing friends. I have a lot of best friends. Actually, this is really cute. One of my best friends who abandoned me and moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, because of her stupid husband.
Oh no.
Yeah, because of his job, of
How
course.
rude.
So rude, stupid husbands. But look, so they call me Auntie Nicole, and like Levi made me this, and she sent me their Valentines. Like, isn't that so cute?
Oh.
Otto, he made me a little flamingo.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Is that Gloria?
It's Gloria, a little flamingo. And
Oh,
it's
she's so
like, Auntie
cute.
Nicole love Otto. Isn't that so cute?
That is really, really sweet.
So I was like, your mom and dad abandoned me. Thanks for the Valentine's. But anyway, like I have so my best friends are gonna do something. You and I were talking a little bit off mic just about, to be honest, like for the long time in the pandemic from last March until really like January, I was like, whatever, it's cool. Like I have no plans. I don't have to do anything. Well, I hit a wall and I was like, I need to go somewhere. I was like, I want to travel. I'm like, I'm bored. Like I know that I need to clean my look, I know I need to take down my Christmas tree, but like I'm like, I was just like, so that's what so I don't know. I think me and a couple of my friends might just like go to New York for the day and like walk around
It's
Central Park, like just to do something. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's yeah, so I was in Lake Harmony last weekend, which was beautiful, and just being kind of out of Philadelphia was really nice.
Yeah.
But
Did you
no,
do anything? Did you ski or snow tube or anything?
so it's tough now because of the pandemic. There's
Right.
all these rules and we didn't ski. I've never skied. So when a couple people, the group was going, I was like, I don't know if I don't want to hold anybody back because I've never skied. I said, so if you guys go, like maybe I'll like tube or something, but tubing was closed. And
Oh,
then
that's
there's
tough.
only a certain amount of tickets that they're giving away just because of capacity and
Right, right, right.
distancing. Skiing, like the tickets were sold out. The lodges are closed. Like they're not,
Right. It's just different. Yeah.
yeah, it just didn't work out. So no, we just chilled and it was like really nice. Like just hung out, went in the hot tub and
Which is so nice.
whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a polar plunge
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and in the Poconos, which is funny. Well, it's a little bit so where I grew up is in between the Lehigh Valley and like Wilkes-Barre Scranton. So like when you go up the turnpike, the first exit after the tunnel is where I grew up. And so I've always wanted to do a polar plunge, always. And any polar plunge that I've seen has been like you run in the ocean, right? Like they do it at the shore New Year's Day, or like they do the Sea Isle one like
Yeah.
around this time. Well, my high school was doing it as a fundraiser, and I went to Marion Catholic High School. Go Colts! I was
Yeah.
on student council, voted most spirited. So I loved my high school, and I was like, oh my! And it was the lake, literally Muck Chunk Lake, which is 5 minutes from my parents' house. And I was like, oh my god, like this is so fun. So me and my two best friends, Diane and Diana, they were gonna do it. It was gonna be great. And then my mom's like, Nicole Ann, they're gonna have to chop up the ice from the lake, because the ocean moves. So the ocean doesn't freeze. This is just like a small man-made lake. And it was the week before, every night was like 7 degrees.
Oh my God.
And so again, so my mom's saying to this, they're gonna, they'll have to get the fire department to chop up the ice. And so I just thought that they would like chop up the ice and we would run through it. So the day before, I just happened to go on the Facebook page and found a video from the 2019 plunge. Oh, no, no. There's no running in the water. They literally cut a hole in the ice, and you have to walk out on the frozen lake and then stand at the edge of this hole, this ice hole, and jump in.
Were you terrified?
It was ice diving. It was,
I was gonna say, you basically like ice, like, you know how when they go ice fishing, like
yes.
you were like the bait.
Yes, I know. So I see this the day before and I was like, "Oh my god." It was like a catwalk. You had and then like they made a whole this video's on our Instagram and Facebook, so check it out at Lipstick League. And cuz the video is hilarious. And so no, there it was very very safe. They had, paramedics everywhere and the fire department everywhere to make sure that the ice was safe. But they basically it looked like a big 9 because they made this walkway and then the hole. So you jumped in and then you had to come down this walkway in the water and then you had to run on the beach. That was so like so I was
How did you feel? Like, were you so cold?
okay, so here's the thing. So
Can you just tell me like what your body felt like? Because I can't even begin to comprehend like that level of cold because I think I might just die. Like, I think I would just die.
so I like started to get this is before I knew it was an ice dive. I was like starting to freak out. So I did a whole bit about it on the radio. And like all these people called in and they've done it for years. And this woman was like, wear your bathing suit. And then you wear like shorts or like workout pants and a t-shirt over top. And you have towel bitches, your towel bitch ready with like waiting for your towel when you
But
come out.
like, is that enough? Is a towel enough?
Somebody else said, start taking cold showers like the week leading up to kind of
Oh,
body ready.
because I
So
was gonna say, would you go into shock otherwise?
So well, no, everybody was making fun of me. They're like, okay. But so I would take like a regular shower and then I would like turn the cold freezing water on and just stand there for like a minute or two just to like get my body a little bit acclimated. But I think it's your adrenaline is going. So like my friend Diane backed out the day of, which was like so whack. Her husband did it, but then my friend Diana did it with me. And so like we walk and you had to wear shoes because you had to walk out on the ice. So you couldn't go barefoot because like your feet would be numb. So like you walk to the edge and we're just like 1, 2, 3, jump in, and everyone's like, I can't believe you went under. And I was like, well, I don't like when I jump in, I don't jump in to not go under. So you just like jump in and you don't that's not the cold part. The cold part
Is getting out.
is getting out and then
Yeah.
going all the way up the beach. And I kept like teasing my mom and Joe, and I was like, you guys weren't ready. My assistants weren't ready for me because I had to like take off the t-shirt and pants. And then you're like standing. And so I quick like stood in the sand, then I put my Uggs on, and then I got like a foil blanket and like wrapped myself in that, and then the towels. And then I actually had this on, this Kim Kardashian Skims knockoff from
Wait.
Walmart.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that the Skims one? Because I want one, but I refuse to pull the trigger on one because I bought some of like the body, like the shapewear.
Yeah, and you hate it?
Yeah. It like I did not love it, and I'm mad that I spent all the money on it that I did.
Why? Is it just not doesn't work?
Um, it's no different from Spanx. I mean, to her credit, it's brilliant. It comes in all these different shades. There's
Yeah.
all these different cuts, which are nice, but um, I don't think it was anything to write home about.
Yeah.
But
So no, this is knockoff. It was each set was 11.97 from Walmart, and I like live in it. It's so cute.
it's really cute.
But so anyway, so that and then like for a good, I want to say like 10, 15 minutes, you were like really cold and like my fingers were really, really cold. But then like we lucked out though so much because Friday it was literally like bitter cold and crazy fog and wind. Saturday, even though it was 25 degrees outside, literally 25, the sun was shining. So like the sun really warmed you up. And then the next day it snowed like a banshee. My parents got
Yeah.
like 4 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Really lucked out. And I would totally do it again. Like I love to swim. Like people call me crazy water lady, but like anything with water. Like I love lakes and rivers and water fountains and pools and oceans, and like I love it all. And it was like so fun.
That sounds so fun. Although I would never do that.
You won't
I
even do
don't
like a run-in one?
no, 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 no. I don't think I could.
Why?
I don't think I could. It's too I don't think
Free?
I could
Are
do it.
you do you have like, are you an adventure person?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay,
No, not even in the slightest.
okay.
I'm
So
kind
you
of
have
like I'm like a feet on the ground, butt
yeah.
on the chair kinda gal.
You know what's really funny is that I never thought of myself as an adventure person, and when I sent my Aunt Janet when I sent Aunt Janet the video, she goes, "Oh my gosh, Nicole, I love that you have I love that you're so adventurous, and I could watch through you." Um, and she's like, "I'm on the couch with my blanket," and then I was like, "Oh wait, like I went skydiving, I went parasailing,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like
No.
I was like, oh, I didn't really realize like I went zip lining. Like
Yeah.
I never realized that I actually was a bit of like I never thought of myself as being someone who likes adventure, but I was like, oh, I guess I do. But I guess it's just in like in controlled adventure. You know what I mean?
So
I don't think I would do anything. It would have to be in like in control, but like jet skiing, like all that kind of stuff.
see,
Like
I would like to jet ski. I do like going on boats.
okay.
Um, I feel like
Like
the most
water skiing?
I don't know if I'd try. I think I would try to water ski.
Okay.
But I'm very clumsy. So that's mostly my problem.
I'm clumsy too. I knocked my whole protein shake in the bathroom the other day, shattered all over the wall, and I just stood there and looked at it, and I was like, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
I guess the craziest thing I've done was when I went horseback riding in California last year.
Okay.
And we were going on it said we were going on a trail. So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, like on a trail." And then here, the horses walked on a cliff.
Yeah, you were
On
near
the
the Hollywood sign, weren't you?
Yeah, on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
And the entire time I'm thinking, I'm like, "You know what? If this horse goes over," because my horse was this very wiry teenage boy
Okay.
named Woody.
Ah!
And I'm like, and they placed you on the horse. And like my best friend Laurel had this like elegant um white like horse named Stella who was like super like she just like Stella just seemed like so sophisticated. I think that was Stella's name. And then like
Yeah.
everybody else's horses were kind of chill. And like as soon as I saw Woody, he was like, and I was like, they're gonna put me with this motherfucker. And then he came up and I was like, oh my God, this is probably like some sort of like symbolism for my life. But so the way up the mountain, Woody was getting a little wiry and I had to keep like pulling him back over, but he wanted to walk on the edge.
Yeah.
And you have a guide with you
Right.
and and this is what they do. But my friend Alyssa was behind me on her horse and she was like, Woody was getting real close to the edge, like real close, and I could feel it. And I was exhilarated to be up there. I was happy, but in my mind, I was terrified the whole time. And
Of course,
I
yeah.
was just like, you know what? If this goes awry and like this is how you go out, at least you'll have a really great story. Like, how did Natalie Eganoff die? Like, she fell off the cliff while like on a horse. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like
Like,
in like near the Hollywood sign, which is very like old Hollywood, like what you are.
yes, yes, yes. So no, I mean it was fine, but that's probably the most adventurous thing I've done. And I don't know. I might do it again.
Would
I
you
might
do
do it again.
skydiving?
See, I used to really want to, but I don't know if I could now.
It's so cool.
I
It's
know. I think I might do it. We'll see. We'll see.
that moment when you're at the edge of the plane and you have to like jump, it's fucking nuts.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I really can't.
like crazy. But so obviously the biggest story is you had the biggest story in the sports world, not just Philly, but the sports world.
I did.
And this was when you were away.
Yeah, so actually my plan for the weekend was to I and you know what's so funny? I deleted Twitter at like the Twitter app and Facebook off of my phone because I wanted to disconnect for the
That's
weekend.
really smart. Yeah, that's really smart.
And now I don't know how to get Twitter back on my home screen, but so I disconnected for the weekend and then I get a, I somebody texted me and said that Adam Schefter said the report that the Eagles are moving Carson Wentz and blah blah. So, I have relationships with people in this business. I've been in this business for 12 years in Philadelphia now, and got some scoop, sat on it for a little bit, and then um put it out there, because it was good information,
Yep.
and I will stand by that until the end of time. And it went completely viral,
Yep.
and was really crazy for a minute. So then, next thing you know, yeah, like I'm like, oh yeah, I just chilled out. No, I was kind of glued to my phone for like hours just watching, because we thought the trade was going to be imminent.
Right.
Because it said that Carson Wentz was close to being dealt to the Chicago Bears for Nick Foles, which is some weird parallel universe, a first rounder, and running back Tariq Cohen. So Tariq Cohen comes out. He refutes the report, but in the NFL, those guys, they don't know if they're getting traded.
Right.
They
Absolutely.
normally don't tell them. So it was pretty intense.
And Tariq Cohen's the running back for the Bears who was out last season with an ACL tear.
Yes,
For those of you
yes.
who was, so he's
So
going to be part of the trade. And then he kind of freaked out and then like supposedly text his coach and GM and they're like, "Oh, you're good, bro," but like that means nothing.
no, that means nothing, and I would never trust anything. Like, if I were an NFL player, I would trust nobody. It's such an ugly
Absolutely.
business. It's
Yeah.
such an ugly business, as we've learned watching the Carson Wentz situation play out in Philadelphia, because they paid him $1 million and it didn't matter,
Right.
or $100 million and it didn't matter. So
I think though that like the biggest, and we'll talk about Carson in a second, but for me, like watching you go through what you went through in the sense of that your sources are legit and you still hesitated because you knew the hate was coming.
yeah, I
That's
was
that's a horrible place to be in. And I also don't think that men think that. Like,
well,
I don't think that they ever question. I think they just do it and they're like, people might get annoyed, but it's not the same as when a female does it.
so
And I think that that's a important part of the conversation.
well, and because I'm not an Adam Schefter. I'm not breaking trade news or whatever often. When I get good information, I put it out there because I think, it's important to kind of let the fan base know what's going on. And
Yeah. Well,
especially if I believe in, and again, I trust my sources
talk about the
wholeheartedly.
trade, the draft information that you had last year.
Yeah. So, I had that, Jerry Judy, his draft stock had fallen. And he came out and he refuted it too, that his draft stock wasn't falling. And, you know, uh, there was an article on NewJersey.com about it. And when it was written about me having put it out, they wouldn't even include my name in the article.
Right.
And journalistically, having studied journalism in college, journalistically, that's the most disrespectful thing that you could do. So this was Joe Giglio, who wrote the article on NewJersey.com. He's in the sports radio in Philadelphia.
Oh, I mean, I literally can't stand him and all
I
his.
know. It's kind of hilarious. So yeah, Joe Giglio writes this article and writes an out of nowhere report from a Philadelphia sports talk radio personality,
Which he is
which
as well.
well, yeah, which he is as well. And then they included my tweet, and I'm like, you think that by leaving my name out of the article that they're not going to see my tweet and my picture? Like, you're an idiot. You put my tweet in the article.
And most people already saw the news on Twitter anyway before they're clicking an article.
And it's just like, and then it was then corroborated by the very reliable Derek Gunn, because D Gunn checked his sources, and we're all in this community together. Again, I've been in the city, in the Philadelphia sports media for 12 years.
Yep.
12 years. Um, so D Gunn was like, checked with his sources and backed me up, because he was like, I can't believe the shit you were getting.
Yeah.
he was like, and the thing is, like, there are men in this industry who respect the shit out of me. He's one of them. Mike Missinelli, Tyrone Johnson, Rob Motti. Like, I have a really great people, like great group of people who have my back
Yeah.
because they know A, I'm a professional. B, I worked my ass off to get where I am, and C, that I would never put out anything if I didn't think that it was legit. Like, I'm not in the business of breaking news. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
but, like,
or putting news out there for fun because I hate fake news.
and you 1 gazillion% would have never lasted in this business for as long as you have, you know, more than half of a decade because you have integrity. And
Exactly,
it's your
exactly.
integrity. It's you're not just putting false information out there to be a sensationalist.
Well,
That's
and
what you do.
what cracks me up is, so I put out the news on Saturday, the speculation, and again, like, journalism 101, it's all in the phrasing, right? It's how you put the information out there that you're getting.
Yeah.
There's words that you use, and you have sources, and it's how you put the information out there. I said, sources telling me that the Bears are close to a deal for Carson Wentz. Nick Foles is speculated to be involved along with an offensive player and a first rounder.
Yep.
Like, that's a very standard um report.
Report. It's a report.
It's a report. I didn't say it was finalized. I didn't say the deal was done. Like, as once I got wind of the fact that Adam Schefter put out that a trade was imminent, I started to just reach out to people, say, "Hey, do you know what's up with this?" Like, it's and it's funny, I guess, the perception of it, but for some reason, whenever I put it out, there's this weird backlash. Like, again, go like back to the whole like NewJersey.com thing. So they put the article out. Adam Schefter then confirms my report the next day. The biggest NFL reporter in the
Right.
entire world basically confirms my report. And then I went at NewJersey.com and I said, you could have put my name in the article. But what makes me so sick is that somebody like Joe Giglio is so comfortable leaving my name out, right? So then they try and blame it on the fact that he works for the other sports radio station.
Right. Right.
And but I'm like, that's bullshit, because you would never leave anybody's name out. Do you think that they would have left Tyrone Johnson's name out?
Right.
Do you think they would have left Mike Missinelli's name out? It's like,
Anthony Lugano's name out.
well, and it's so funny because, I have so many more followers than all of them.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all just like bitter
Yeah.
that I don't know. I think that a lot of them think that I don't deserve to be where I am.
Well,
But
it's misogyny at its finest.
yeah, so then, like, the editors from NewJersey.com were messaging me and apologizing, and Joe was like explaining himself to somebody else who wanted to apologize to me, and I'm like, you know what? Have some fucking respect, because
But they did it again.
huh?
They did it again.
Yes.
They
So then this time, what's his face? I don't even want to use his name. So, this is the second half of it. So when I put that news out last time, I then had another report from a source about the draft that the Eagles were going to acquire a wide receiver in the 6th round. So put that news out there as well. And yeah, Howard Eskin went on the air and called me a know nothing.
right.
Again, none of these people know who I know. Absolutely none of them. They don't know who I formed relationships with. I don't even talk to these people.
Right.
They think
Right.
that they know me. They don't know me from shit.
Right.
They know me as the sports radio girl who's been working in this business for over the last decade, but like, they don't know me at all.
At
So
all.
their perception of me is that I'm just this, like,
Pretty face. Say
yeah.
it.
And
That's
it just, it's so insulting.
Yep.
It's so insulting. And I just don't know who the fuck these people think that they are.
But I said this to you the other day on the phone when you and I were talking, and I really, really believe it. Now, I worked on the music side, so I've never worked on sports. I've never worked on the talk side of radio. I've worked on the music side in many different genres, and I've never seen what you have to deal with. Like, I'm constantly shocked. But there is no doubt in my mind that if you didn't look the way that you looked, they would not treat you that way. If
Well,
you were, and like, that's the reality of it, like, which is the definition of misogyny.
Right, it's their internalized perception
Of you.
of me and, like, a role that I should fit in this business that makes them less resistant to,
What you know.
I guess
Yeah.
believe me. So
Your knowledge, your
so he
connections. Yeah.
so this was last year, calls me a know nothing on the air. What do the Eagles do? Get the guy that I said that they were gonna get in the 6th round because, again, I know what the fuck I'm doing, right?
Right.
So, fast forward to Saturday, and we're recording this on Wednesday night. The word is still out on Wednesday. No one's really sure.
Yeah.
From what I assess, I think that they're at a little bit of a standstill with him right now. I think he wants to go to the Colts. And I don't think he's gonna be very what's that word? I don't think he's
Understanding or
I don't really think he's gonna try and help the Eagles out at this
yeah.
point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's of my belief that he wants to go to the Colts. It's of my belief that the Bears are still the front runner. It's Wednesday, February 9th or whatever at 10 o'clock at night. So that's my belief right now. So again, the jury's still out on where he's going to end up. However, it's just the disrespect and the reaction that I get for putting out such a it like I understand that it's a big deal to the sports world if Carson Wentz gets traded.
Yeah.
However, it's a very benign statement that I don't think I deserve to be bullied for on the internet.
1 bazillion percent.
And the thing is like, you
And
know,
the fact though that like that's what makes me so mad is that as your friend and as a woman is that you had to think about that before you put that out.
well,
You knew.
I was shaking when I put it out and because I knew what the reaction was going to be.
Yeah.
I knew what the reaction was gonna be. I knew I was gonna be questioned. I knew I was gonna be called names. I knew that people were just going to try and rip me apart for and honestly, the reason I could have sat on that. I could have let one of the other bigger guys. I've gotten a ton of information that I've never released.
Yep.
And for me putting that out there as a Philadelphia, sports fan and also somebody who's in the business, I feel like I have a responsibility to the fan base to let them know what's going on, especially with this situation, because the fan base has been dealing with it forever, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't like I was trying to hurt anybody or bring anybody down. I was just trying to tell people what's up.
Right.
And
And that's another thing is that you are so strategic in what information you release because you don't ever want to be like, oh, I'm just putting everything out. It's like, no, you respect your source. You pick and choose what you know the sports world and what the fans would appreciate most. Like you are a professional about how you choose to do it.
yeah, and I also, again, I studied journalism.
Yeah.
And I respect the hell out of journalists, and I respect the hell out of, people who dedicate their lives to giving factual information and sourcing their information and, um, making sure that things are factual. Like, it's just I don't deserve to get an email that says, "Stop lying, you cunt."
And that's
Over
literally what it said.
that's literally what it said because I put out a trade speculation. Like they're just so crazy. And I remember last year when, one of the stories that I put out, there was this writer in Oakland who wrote this article and he wrote an article on the news that I had put out, the information, the speculation that I had put out.
Right.
And
About the draft.
yeah, about the draft. And his first paragraph was dead. His brain couldn't compute that he looked at my picture, he looked at me, and he couldn't compute that I would have some sort of information. The entire first paragraph was about who I am.
Right.
It said,
Right.
"Who's Natalie Eganoff? You may not know who Natalie Eganoff is. I may not know who Natalie Eganoff is. Nobody knows who Natalie Eganoff is." And I was like, this is the weirdest shit I've ever read in my life. If like why does there have to be like all these conditions or this explanation about who I am or what I do? Look at my fucking website.
Yeah, and resume.
and read what I've done with my
Yeah.
life. Like they're all just, it's weird. It's weird how they react, and like it's it's sick. And I just hope that as we move forward, like it'll stop, because it's not fair, and ever since I put the report out, I've been blocking a ton of people just
Yeah.
because it's harassment. And
And here's the thing, and I just kind of thought about this right now, but majority of people have watched the Britney Spears documentary, right? Which is on Hulu. And I watched it this weekend. You watched it. So it's been trending. And the part of, if you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's only an hour and 20 minutes, but there's a part of this and it ties in because which I knew, I follow pop culture all the time. So I knew a lot about her conservativeship. None of that surprised me. What surprised me was seeing how the media covered her 20 years ago, from
yeah.
1997 to 2010, and how they treated her, and not just her but women in general, how they called Paris Hilton a bimbo, how they would ask Britney Spears about breast implants, how they would ask her about if she was a virgin. It blew my mind about late night host calling her a slut and calling her a whore. I mean, she was 19 years old. Justin Timberlake admitting that he fucked her on the radio, and then on the
Oh,
cover.
he's on my shit list. I don't know if he'll ever come off.
And the thing that's interesting, I mean, I've known a lot of people that interviewed him, and I always thought he was a little bit of a dick, but though I really do think though, like, I don't think he actually was purposefully being a dick as much
No.
as it was that time in society. That was how women were vilified. Women, like, they were made out to be evil, slutty whores. And so he was just going along with it. And it was shocking to me. I mean, her mental health was a joke on, was a category on Family Feud.
That when I saw that, I
And
lost it. It's just
but my how
it
this
was a
ties into
punching bag.
you, how this ties into you is though there was activists, and there were so many women over the course of the last 20 years who fought to change the narrative on women. That if you want to sleep around, fucking do it. Because you know what? It's your life. If you want to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom and only sleep with one person your entire life, fucking do it, because you can do whatever you want. And don't ever speak to women like that. And I always say, like, I have such a strong respect for activists who like put their life on hold to champion. And like social media, people give social media such a bad rap. Obviously, you experience it every day, but what social media did for the average person, they gave everybody a voice. And so what happened was people started to say, you are not going to speak to women that way anymore. And how what the media got away with and what people in general got away with 20 years ago, it would never fly now. And so
No.
to me, that's a positive. And so tying this back to you, I really do hope, because of people like you and your voice and different women with voices, that 20 years from now, there's not going to be two girls with a podcast or with a YouTube channel that are still experiencing it.
Well, and the thing at the end of the day is like, you know, this is what's really sick about it too. It's just football.
Yeah.
It's just football. And it again, the tweet was so it was a report,
Yeah.
and it I think it's still true.
Yeah.
I stand by my source. I still think it's true. I think that that's the best offer that the Chicago Bears offered for Carson Wentz to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, and that's
Um,
another thing. That's another part of this is that what I think it's very important to remember is that things literally change by the second. And
yeah.
so at the end of the day, this entire situation, there's only one person that really is affected, which is Howie Roseman. He ultimately has the say, which is so fucking crazy to me. That like the Bears could say, "Hey, we're going to give you Nick Foles and we're going to give you a second and a fourth round pick. And Howie's like, no. The Colts could say, hey, we're going to give you a second and a third. And Howie says, no.
Yeah.
He's ultimate authority on this whole thing. So, yeah, your report was 100% right. But you know what? If Howie says no, then he says no.
Well,
And
and
that's, I
that's
think, what's so crazy about this whole thing is that, like, I said this to you the other day, that like the entire future of the especially like current future of the Philadelphia Eagles really has to do with Howie Roseman's ego. Because if Howie Roseman doesn't get a good enough return on the investment, he's going to say no.
yeah.
He doesn't want to look like an idiot. He
Yeah.
already fucked everything up with his drafting and this whole situation. So if he trades Carson Wentz away and only gets a third and a fourth round pick, he's going to look like the biggest laughing stock. And so, like, he's willing to put the risk of the entire organization just because of his ego.
Yeah, no, and again, like he doesn't care, and you're right. And there's so many moving parts that go with this type of trade and this type of deal in the NFL. There's like so many factors involved, and every team's out for themselves. So these things tend to be super fluid,
Right.
you know? And I don't know if I said this earlier when we were mentioning it, but there were also people who were tweeting me and they're like, "Oh, you're just doing this for attention. And
Right.
you're just doing this for likes." And I was like, you have absolutely no idea how a fucking bikini photo works then, do you? I'd
Yeah.
stick my ass in a thong and
Yeah.
post a picture of it on the internet. Like God's honest truth. Like I know what gets likes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wish I could be one of those women who does that because I think that they look amazing. But like it's just
I mean, you've had some good hot picks, though. Let's not lie.
no, I mean when you're feeling yourself, you're feeling yourself. You got to put it out there. But like
And again, but
I
that
like
goes back to kind of the Britney Spears thing, right? Is that, like, for so long women were like, don't be conceited. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like,
yeah.
if I'm feeling myself and I'm looking good, I'm posting that picture, like it or
Right.
not. But like,
Right.
I want to post it for me.
Right.
And
But
you're not gonna vilify me.
that's the thing. You think like this would be my strategy?
Right.
Like
Right.
you're stupid. You don't really know how this works, do you?
And I mean, let's be honest, like, it's not the most intelligent people that are actually the ones that are internet trolls.
No, they're all a bunch of mouth breathers in their mom's basements.
But I just thought of this too, which is kind of funny that I totally forgot about it. But I actually did have a similar situation. So back in 2011, I guess, the Jonas Brothers were supposed to do Jingle Ball. It was when I was at Q102, and they were coming into the station in Philly to announce Jingle Ball. And that morning, the record company called my boss and said they're breaking up, they're canceling the tour, they're not coming to Jingle Ball. People Magazine is releasing the information between 3 and 4 today, Eastern Standard Time. However, you can release it, but we can't be a source. So you can release the information that they're breaking up, but like that's it. You just have to
You just have
release.
to own it. Yeah.
And so I was Nick the Wet Chick. So like I was like breaking news, Jonas Brothers breaking up. And
Wait, did you break the news that the Jonas Brothers broke up?
yes,
You did?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I also broke the news that Kim Kardashian was pregnant with North. I was when it was
I
Kanye.
just got the chills.
It was Kanye West's concert at Revel. Remember Revel?
It was her what, 35th birthday?
Yeah, and it was in no, because her birthday's in September.
September.
It was like December 30th.
Oh, was it New Year's Eve at
It
Revel?
was the day before New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
she
I
was she wearing the black net?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
But he was performing. Kanye was performing, and I went to the show, and he said, like, my baby mama, and I tweeted it, and I was the first person to tweet it. And that was in 2012, so like Twitter wasn't like as big as it was now, but yeah.
No, still that's insane.
Yeah, I was very excited. So anyways, the Jonas Brothers story. So all these crazy Jonas Brothers fans literally like, and it's kind of funny that like 13-year-old girls attacked me and 40-year-old men attack you. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like both of them are internet trolls, just a
Yeah.
little different, but they were like, you're a bitch, you're liar, liar. Like it was, and then like it went all over. Like a Philadelphia radio personality says the Jonas Brothers have broken up. And then I'll never forget, I was in Kohl's in Cherry Hill. And I was in the shoe department, and which annoys me because they never have size 11s and I wear 11 shoes. And People magazine broke the story, and it was at like 3:45.
Wait, that is so insane.
So like it kind of, and I didn't even, sometimes I forget about it because it was so long ago, but like it really does have a lot to do with this story, is that like we're never going to put out information unless we have actual sources. And like we were flat out told, you can put it out, but we can't be your source because People magazine actually has the article, but you could put it out now. And so like we actually did, well, my boss told me I could do it, but I broke the story, and people thought that we were just doing it for clicks and likes, but we were right all the time. We just couldn't have like the official quote from the band. People magazine did, like,
Yeah. And you know what the God's honest truth? The God's honest truth about the whole thing is, and I'm like, if you follow me on Twitter and if you know how I feel about the Philadelphia Eagles, you should know that my worst nightmare, and it has nothing to do with him, is Nick Foles coming back to Philadelphia. Like, do you think that I want that?
Right.
Do you think that I want Nick Foles to come back and then be over Jalen Hurts' shoulders
Yeah.
if he's even the starter? Because now they're speculating that they're not even sure that he's going to be the starter.
Yeah.
So
And they
it's
might
like,
draft somebody. Yeah.
right. So it's like, do you think that I want that? I've been living the Nick Foles quarterback controversy for the last 3 years, every single day. The fan base has called for him, even when he's not even here. He's not even on the team, and they're like, let's bring Nick Foles back.
Okay.
Can you imagine if he comes back? Like, that is kind of like a sports radio nightmare for me. Like, that's not something that I like. If I were choosing the situation, if I was making something up, I'd make up something that was less taxing on my mental health.
It is just so crazy the fact that like, and you and I've talked about this before. When you think about the fact that like we won the Super Bowl, and it was the whole controversy, Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz getting hurt, and then finally it was like Nick left and Carson rallied the team those last 4 games at the end of the 2019 season, and was like, okay, finally we don't have to worry about Nick Foles. He obviously was sucking in Jacksonville, and like Carson rallied, and it's gonna be great. And then they fucking go and draft Jalen Hurts, and then like it's been hell since.
Yeah, like it's not that, like, I don't, first of all, in my perfect world, Carson Wentz would be our quarterback for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
B, like,
And
this
he'd
would
be good. Let's preface that he'd be good.
that he'd be good and he'd be our quarterback for the next 10 years. Like, B, like, I wouldn't want it to be for a first round pick, a running back coming off of an ACL tear, and a backup journeyman quarterback who is injury prone and looked like shit. Like,
Right.
that's not the way. If I was writing the Philadelphia Eagles story and like making things up because I thought it was cool, like, that's not the story that I would tell. Like, it's just
Right. And you were never part of the Folesian Society ever.
no, never. Because I think, God's honest truth, I think that this is going to come back and bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
If they can't salvage this, and if I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. But
Well, I think the other big thing that we need to talk about is obviously that we called it weeks ago that the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buccaneers were going to be in the Super Bowl.
we sure did.
We wanted Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl because he's your new best friend.
Yes.
And all of that came true.
I'm so glad he had a good time today at his little boat parade.
Oh my God.
Disappointed he didn't wear his tricorn hat and an eye patch, because that's all that I wanted.
Well, what was that weird orange shirt that he was wearing though? Like, he wasn't wearing like a Bucks t-shirt, which I thought was kind of weird. He was wearing like an orange t-shirt.
So I was dying. They were saying that like he is just like in Florida, like on retirement, but like still playing in the NFL. So I'm here for like 2021 Tom Brady. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that I finally turned a new leaf with him now, because I was so happy to see him.
Oh my God. It was like,
Like,
if you didn't see it of him being wasted, you have to go check out our socials, Lipstick League, but it's on Instagram and Twitter, and it's just, or just Google, drunk Tom Brady. But and then like the fact, and again, whether he says to his team, tweet this, or his team just knows his personality, It's genius. Like he literally retweeted the video of him wasted and wrote nothing to see here, just a little avocado tequila, because everybody made fun of him eating avocado ice cream. And so like it's so fucking smart. Like it's so witty, it's so smart. It's
I
like,
don't I don't think he has a team. I think it's him.
you do?
Yeah, I think it's him.
No, because he posted a video and he tagged a team.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, he's just
I think that, but
just
like in
funny.
real life, he's funny. Like if you walk, like if you've seen him in interviews and like how he is with Peyton Manning and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that he might like give an idea, but I don't think he's actually on his, like I don't know if he's on his phone on Twitter. Maybe he is, but
He didn't look
because
like he was in shape to be tweeting, but they also said that he was a little seasick too, but everybody else got off the boat fine,
I
right?
get real seasick on
Do
boats.
you?
But
No,
did you
I just
where he threw the Lombardi trophy to Gronk's boat and his daughter, who's what, like 7 or 8, was like, Dad, no! Like, and then he posted that. He's like, you can hear Viv screaming in the background, LOL. Like, I love the fact that he's just like owning it.
well, I like that he's becoming like a real person now.
Yes, yes.
It's kind of nice to see, and like it's a shame that we didn't get this version of Tom Brady, but I also don't know if he would be Tom Brady if he was like this the whole time. Like I don't know if he'd be the Tom Brady who just won his 7th Super Bowl.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Did you when you get, I don't think you read it yet, but when you get a chance, I texted you that article about like the emptiness of Tom Brady. And it was such a good article because it was about like how he's a brand. And so like he was caught in 2015 with the MAGA hat. And then once it became an issue, he completely distanced himself from Trump, because a lot of people, like I was obviously talking about him and everybody kept saying, and obviously you and I are both very liberal. We're we're both very anti-Trump. We're both very anti-racist. We try to be the best allies we can for any minority group, right? We're very
Right.
careful about that. So a lot of people were coming at me being like, he's a Trumper, he's a Trumper. But like the story with that is that the hat was in his locker in 2015. It was even before, it was like almost a year before the 2016 election. And obviously the MAGA hat then was not as extreme as the MAGA hat now.
Oh, it held
Right.
held none of the weight that
Right.
it holds
And
now.
so
I mean, it was just like some shitty ploy.
correct. And the story was the fact that, Trump was really good friends with Robert Kraft because like billionaires hang out with billionaires. And he was just like, and when you get a chance, if you want to, you listen to the interview that Tom Brady did with Howard Stern. It was only a couple months ago. It was over the summer when he was in Tampa. And it was really good. And Stern hates Trump and talked about it. And Tom said, I met him when I was like 21 and he was just like always around. Like he wanted to play, like, Trump he's a narcissist. So like he loves to like be around celebrities. So he like would invite him to go play golf and they were just
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then like he gave a bunch of hats to Robert Kraft and, but the article was really good because they were basically saying like what Tom has done is like he's been able to like remove himself from any controversy. So like he never really addressed what happened with Kaepernick, but yet when all hell broke loose in the NFL this year, then he like led the Players Coalition for social.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like it was just a really interesting article just about how like he's so calculated about like not really ever offending anybody and not really ever taking a stand. But I said to people who are very anti-Brady, I was like, guys, but like his teammates are obsessed with him. LeBron is one of his good friends. So I'm like, Serena Williams was going on and on about him on her socials. She's commenting on his socials. So it's like, he clearly has to be liked in a way. Like, I think that if he was this horrible person, I don't think anybody would like revel in
Uh,
him like that.
well, a part of me also wonders if he spent all that time in New England kind of like protecting himself.
Wait, so it leads me to another. So I got a DM from a woman whose husband worked for the Patriots.
Mhm.
And I never realized this before, but if you notice, none of the Patriots ever like Tom did stuff with Best Buddies, which is for the
Oh,
down,
Down syndrome.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that was like part of like the Patriots organization. And she was like, the Patriots don't want you to speak out. they don't, she's like, if you go look at the top players, the Danny Amendolas that were there, the Gronks,
Oh, they've said they don't get involved in anything
yeah,
that has to do with anything
Julian Edelman,
in anywhere, anything. Like,
yeah,
you could be like, oh, like, you're not like, I care about Frida Kahlo. They'd be like, no, even though it's like
yeah.
so innocuous, you know?
And I was like, holy shit, I never realized that before. She's like, yeah, it's a very robotic organization. And all the players, when you play for that organization, you follow the, what's it called? Like the, when you're
Patriot way.
Patriot, yeah,
That's
or
what I think that's what they call it, the Patriot way. Why did
like,
my phone
you
just
know,
start?
you're a cookie cutter of their system.
My phone.
What is it? Oh, weird. Siri. Is she listening?
I don't know. I didn't call her.
Maybe it hit her
So we're talking about Tom Brady and now it's
all of a sudden. So
yes.
listen, I do think, I mean, I think it sucks and it annoys me that he doesn't use his voice more. But I also don't think he's a bad person.
No, I don't think he's a bad person. I do wish he would shake Nick Foles' hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that that just goes to show like
Just
how,
because it's bad sportsmanship.
yeah. And it just goes to show though how psycho of a competitor he is. Like he's that psycho that like he won't shake his hand because he beat him twice.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean? So like it's just really, really, really interesting. But like you cannot deny how just, I mean, there was like that really funny tweet that went viral where he was like, Nick Foles literally just picked a random team, was like, yo guys, want to go to the Super Bowl? And they went. Like it's, but then did you see what Bruce Arians said?
What did he say?
By the way, I want to give a shout out and some time to Bruce and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Bruce Arians, well, first of all, he coached at Temple, which was awesome. So
Oh
there's
yeah.
the Philly connection. But he was on Chris Long's podcast a couple months ago, even before Tom Brady. So it might have been in the spring. And he was one of the first college, because he's almost 69 years old. Bruce Arians was one of the first college athletes ever to have a black roommate. And Chris Long, because he's been a champion for racial injustice and racial
Yeah.
equality for years. And Chris Long asked him about this, and he said to him, it was just like he's my friend, and like we're roommates, like it's not a big deal. And he just saw how important it was. And they not only have an extremely diverse staff, but they have two females on the coaching staff. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mean, everything we've witnessed this last year, I'm just hoping that
I'm gonna post the picture, but like it's amazing. Like when you see how diverse the staff is, it's incredible.
it's, and we really, it like the attitude in sports radio, the bullshit in not hiring black coaches and women in the NFL, like we're done. Like
Yeah,
it's time. Like we need to be better and like e- everybody's equal, right? And like you need to start just showing people respect and treating them as equals because of like you're insecure, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. Like, so just to pivot back to my like, my tweet last week, and like all the haters, like they're just insecure because
1,000%.
they're mad that A, they didn't get it,
Yeah,
or B, I always say that like all these people hate me just because they want to have my job.
or they want to have sex with you.
Or that too, and they know that it will never ever ever happen because I always said my worst fear in life is dating somebody who like talks shit to women on
People
the
on there.
internet. Yeah.
I mean,
So
I don't think people like, and again, I've told you this before numerous times that I've never seen it, because again, the women that I've worked with, the women that I've been around have worked in female radio stations. So like every radio station has a target demo. So top 40, hot AC, country, we're female leaning radio stations, we're music stations. And so it's a different world. And so to see over the 3 years that we've been friends and how close we've gotten over the last year, to see the abuse that you get is so shocking to me. That, and like, I'm not a naive person. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen it, but because your world is so new and it's all from men,
Yeah, it's
from men.
I know, and I people tell me they're like, you got to ignore it. You can't say anything back. You got to brush it off. But like, there's times when I feel like I handle it really, really, really well, and
And
then
you do.
there's
And I always give you compliments because I'm like, man, I'm always like, well, your mom's ugly. And you have always like I'm such a horrible comebacker. Like I'm so bad at comebacks.
well,
Um,
my thing is like, I mean, I'm actually, and this is another thing, for whatever reason, people on the internet like to call me stupid. And I was like, I was a young Menson, okay? And I was like, I will outduel you in a game of wits. Like, you don't want to, like, I'm 99% sure that I'm probably smarter than you. So, like, if you want to go toe to toe and like wits, like, you're not going to win. But no, I mean, it's just, it wears on me. And I don't know if it's just like that I'm getting older or whatever. I've navigated it for a really long time. And like how you said, you're learning so much about it. I had no idea
right.
that there was another way. And you know what actually really makes me sad? And I think about this every single day. And I think about this, and I'm gonna get emotional. When people say stuff to me is Rhea Hughes, who is on the WIP morning
Yeah.
show, only woman who has been in sports radio in Philadelphia and has lasted. Like,
Yeah.
she's been there forever and she's not on Twitter. Why do you think that is?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a shame because she is brilliant and she knows her shit. And, like, she's a mother and she's
Yeah.
like showed up and done that job every day for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
She was on Twitter and she's not anymore. And it's because like it does wear on you, and I don't know for a fact that that's why she's not on there. Like, I don't know that to be the case. Maybe she just didn't want to be on the internet anymore.
Yeah.
But there are some days where I'm like, you know what? Is this worth it? Like,
Right.
I don't deserve this. Nobody deserves this. So like, I think about somebody like her, and it just it tears me apart. And like, people just got to be better. Men just need to get their shit together. Like,
Mhm.
that's such small dick energy.
It's absolute
Like, do you think like
like the tiniest, like
micro,
like smaller than a candy corn dick energy.
micro?
Yeah.
This is probably the realest I've been on this one. Like,
But
I've
it's
cursed, I've cursed a lot, but I'm fed up and I'm sad and
but
I'm
I think people need to hear it, and it's like I don't understand what people think, and especially men think that they're going to accomplish by being mean on the internet. And it's like, if you are that unhappy and that sad in your life, go to therapy, get
um
help,
a th-
work it out.
yeah, like, and especially like if you're taking out all, like, I have and again, I've talked about this before. There's this one guy who I has been has impersonated me a couple times on the internet, repetitively posted bathing suit photos of me, was pretending to be me, asking for weight loss advice. And people kept bringing it to my attention, and I finally stood up for myself, and I was like, you know what? Like, I know that this guy has hated me. So I know that there are people on the internet who hate me because I have repeat offenders. And
Yeah.
I don't understand why people think that I'm expected to sit there and take the abuse from strangers. And that's the thing. A lot of people, because they listen to me on the radio and they hear me for 4 hours a day. Ginger has the hairball. You all right, babe?
Is it her 11th birthday you post the pictures?
Yeah. Well, it's not her 11th birthday. It's the 11th year that I've had her.
That's crazy that she
I
had 11 years.
I
Yeah.
know, isn't that nuts? But no, like, I just don't know why I'm expected to like tolerate that type of behavior from a stranger. And again, like I was saying, people think that they know me because they hear me on the radio and I'm Nat, and I hang out with Mike and Ty, and I talk about my dog Ginger, and that I'm Irish and from Northeast Philly, but like, you're all strangers to me. I don't know you.
Literal
Yeah,
strangers.
you're literal strangers, and I love the fact that I'm on sports radio in my hometown. I think that that's a little has to I think that that goes into a lot of shit that I get because, you know, people can be haters when they see people doing something that like they want to be doing. But
But it also
no, I'm
worries
just
me, like, how do they talk to their wives? How do they talk to their daughters? How do they talk to their mothers?
well, and would they expect their wives, daughters, mothers to sit there and take the abuse from some fucking asshole on the internet
And
because he's
strangers,
mad that this chick has this job?
right?
Like what is wrong with you? Like go like find a hobby, like go water skiing, like go skydiving,
Read a book.
read a book. Seriously, like just go read a book. Like it's so I'm mad. Like this week was enough for me. Like I'm done like pretending like it's not a thing. And regardless of what happens with Carson Wentz, the Lord, like who knows?
And
This
at the
could go
end of
out
the
until
day, and
this
I
could
think that
go
this
on
is,
until March.
I think it's really important to talk about is that, like, at the end of the day, it is just sports. And but like your mental health matters way more than what happens with Carson Wentz. But in Carson Wentz's defense, he doesn't deserve the abuse either because it's just sports. And maybe he does suck. Maybe he'll never be good again. But you know what? Like at the end of the day, he's not even 30 years old. He's a father, he's a husband, and like he needs to protect himself. And so maybe he's like, fuck you, Philly. Well, sorry, freak you, Philly, because you know it's a
No,
curse.
he would never.
Yeah,
Fudge you, Philly.
fuck you, Philly. But like, he's like, I want to protect my mental health. I want to protect my family. And you know, people just think because people make millions of dollars. And by the way, Natalie doesn't even make 1 ounce of $1 million. To think that it's okay just to abuse people on the internet, it's so crazy to me. It is so crazy to me.
It's I mean, I had hoped that like 2020 with everything that everybody's been through and that it would make people, just be a little bit more respectful or appreciative of.
I think it did for some people, but I think other people who already were going through shit, it just made it worse. And I think that that's really what a lot of it has to do with is that there are people out there who know that they're unhappy and who know that they're miserable and they were like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. And then there's other people who don't even know why they're angry and then they just use the internet as an outlet. You know, I mean, I see it at my job on XTU's Facebook page. I mean, it's just nasty, nasty people. And I'm like, you're all miserable. Like, you all need therapy, you know, and like, you all need to work out where your anger is coming from because taking it out on a radio station's Facebook page or taking it out on a random radio station's personality, like, that anger is coming from somewhere. But so many people just either they don't want to admit it or
I think a lot of it is toxic masculinity.
oh, a
I,
thousand
I
percent.
think that that's where most of it comes from is just this whole me man, me yell, me get point across, but like actually that doesn't fly anymore and like nobody likes you. Like it's not cool to be cruel.
Absolutely. It's not cruel to be cruel at all. And it's just so fascinating to me. And I see it a little bit from women on the XTU Facebook page where it's internalized misogyny. So it's because there's so much toxic masculinity that then it turns into internalized misogyny that women hate women, but it's because they actually hate themselves. And a lot of times that's really hard for people to understand, but it's because it's been decades and decades and decades of women being told you need to be like this, you need to look like this, you need to do that. And so then it gets to a point where like they see a woman who they don't agree with, but they don't even know why they're mad, but it's really because they're mad at themselves. They're mad that like they didn't live the life that they actually wanted to live, right? Like I was reading an article the other day where like there's two types of people that are like, well, I had to pay student loans, so you need to pay student loans. And then there's the other people, it's like student loans suck. So if you don't have to pay student loans anymore, my God, like maybe you can do better in society and not have to worry about paying student loans back to this multi-billion-dollar company that's taking your money for school. You know what I mean? And there it's a type of personality. And so I really do believe that, you know, and we talk about this all the time how you know balls are weak, vaginas are strong, but like men have always been intimidated by women. I mean, let's go back to Adam and Eve, whether you believe that they're real people or they're a story, right? I mean, ultimately that's what it comes down to, is that women have always been the stronger ones
Well,
and
and
men
they've always been the scapegoats.
always been the scapegoats. And so men just tried to put them down,
Yeah.
even though they're the ones that literally, if women didn't exist, society would end, literally.
Yeah, and I don't think that they realize that we're actually the supreme beings.
Oh, I think they do realize it. I think that makes them jealous.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You
And on
know,
that
I really do. I think that that's what it comes down to. It's like they know we're the supreme being. So like you wouldn't feel the need to push people down if you felt good about yourself.
yeah. Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what a bully is. It's your, excuse me, you're
Insecurities.
unhappy, you're insecure, and now you're putting that onto other people because it's like, I feel horrible, I feel bad, I feel sad, I feel frustrated, so I'm going to make you feel as bad as I do.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, and the thing is, every time, like, again, I spar with people on Twitter and I go back and forth with them, and I try and make jokes about a lot of things. But it's really sad to me. And I hope that the people who do have that mentality, that they find some inner peace, because I can't believe that that's not a miserable existence to
Yeah.
have, is just to spend your time spewing hatred on the internet at people that you don't know.
And I think it's if
Like,
you
what
are,
kind of life are you living?
well, right, and if let's
That's like where you're getting your joy from, is being mean to strangers on the internet.
correct. But I don't even know if it's joy or if it's just like I feel like shit and I want you to feel like shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I think if you're listening and you know somebody or it is you, I would just always like to say, like, you have to dig a little deeper and be like, why am I so angry? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not angry at Natalie. Like, where's the
So
anger coming from?
So I did have this guy who harassed me for a long time on the internet, and he was blocked. I mean, I blocked him.
Yeah,
There's and the thing is, people don't think that I remember or see it, but I know the names, like,
yeah,
because some of
of
them are
course.
so obsessed that and it's concerning on a personal safety level, that there's these men who harbor this hatred for me on the internet. But um this one guy emailed me and apologized to me, and he said that he was an alcoholic and that he was going through rehab, and he said, "I don't even know if you know who I am or whatever." He's like, "But I was not kind to you on the internet." Yeah, and I was just like, "You know what? Like, I really appreciate this, and I'm glad that you found peace, and I
Yeah,
hope that," and that's what he said. He's like, "I have a daughter." He said, "I would wake up the next day, read what I said to you on the internet," he's like, "and feel really bad about myself."
yeah.
And I again, this is a total stranger.
Hmm.
But at some point in his life, he felt the need to apologize to me. He could have just gone on with his sobriety and left it alone, but that's a good human, who, like, acknowledges that, and it's
And I think that that's
sad.
like, anytime that I get angry or I get frustrated, I always ask myself, why? Why do I feel this way? You know, like where is it coming from? Because it's very rare that the anger is specifically at the person you're angry with. Usually it's from another place. And so you have to like think about it like why does this annoy me? And sometimes it's just as simple as like it annoys me because it annoys me. You know what I mean? And like other times, and when it's the mean, the anger, it's like maybe it is at an ex, or it's because something happened to you at your job, or something happened to you with a sibling or a family member, or something happened to you in high school that you've never went to therapy and dealt with. Like a lot of times the anger and it's somewhere, and then for whatever reason it gets triggered by it, and then you take it out on the stranger where really it's not ever about that person.
No. No, it's not.
And
It's
so on
not.
a much lighter note, look how cute my nails are.
I know that you're so ready for Valentine's Day.
So
Yay.
sending so much love to all of our lipstick leaguers. We love
Yes.
you, and you know what this is. It's GVO, good vibes only.
Thanks for letting me vent tonight, everyone.
It was important. And you know what I always say to Natalie, like, you get to be you here, you know, and like this is, you own this space. So like it's an, and I think that there's a lot of times that like we talk about stuff that we are going through, and because people can relate to us or people can learn from it, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, when we say good vibes only, it doesn't mean that you only have to be about the goodness. Like Natalie and I both talk about like you have to acknowledge when you feel a certain way, but like you don't put that onto other people. And then when we say good vibes only, that's what I mean. If you're going through some shit, we hope you like come through it with us. But
Yeah.
like, you're not allowed to take it out on anybody. You could be
No.
like, I'm having a horrible day. So I'm here, you know, because I need a release. And it's like, these are your good vibes, but we're never going to tolerate assholes.
Yeah. Absolutely no assholes. And on that note, until next week, hopefully the Carson Wentz saga will be concluded and
In the
he will
meantime,
be
we'll watch Tom Brady videos.
yes. I'm
And
gonna watch the video of him stumbling off that boat for like the next 5 days.
yeah. Mwah.
Mwah.